Hey, welcome to the Virtual Deal Factory Daily. Damien Lampranchi here.
Kevin's DM.
They probably know who we are by now, Mark.
I know, but I like to say my name because I don't even know who I am sometimes.
Yeah, I know. And nobody pronounces my name correctly aside from me and my wife. So my wife and I. So I like to say my name too. Everybody likes their name.
Absolutely.
Networking building tips. Remember names, and you will immediately set yourself apart from your competition because most people forget names as soon as they shake a hand.
Exactly.
But that's not what today's about, Mark. I wanted to talk today about how do you know what makes a deal hot or not?
Uh-huh. Is that the question to me?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. You know, investors want to know. Obviously, we have this really cool feature which is constantly developing, growing, where they can rate properties and say if they're hot or not. So other investors in areas can come and know, like, hey, wow, I should check this property out. It might be good. It might not be good. So how do you know if a deal is hot or not?
Well, I mean, the real answer is you don't. And the reason I say you don't is because in the beginning, if you're brand new, you know, the worst thing you can do is think you know the answer to this, because there's buyers out here like lawyers, doctors, and people like that. These guys will buy it, retail investors. They're called retail investors. People like you and I, we might want to buy it 30 cents off on the dollar, 40 cents on the dollar, 50 cents on the dollar, 60 cents on the dollar. We also might be rehabbers. We also might want turnkey. We also might want properties in a specific location at this exact same price. It might be a condo, it might be a single family, it might be, you know, I mean, there's multiple answers to the real question. And Damien, how I always tell people, you know, it's like, you know, people come to us, Damien, all the time, hey, give me the nuts and bolts, right? Well, we can give you the nuts and bolts, but are we giving you the nuts and bolts to the wheel? Are we giving you the nuts and bolts to the engine? Are we giving you the nuts and bolts to the doors? What are we giving you the nuts and bolts to? And today, obviously, it's, you know, what makes a deal hot. What makes a deal hot in the best way, so you, especially if you're brand new, don't guess. Ask your potential prospects what they're looking for and go find it. This way, you're not running around feeling like you're spinning your wheels and chasing your tail. Ask them, go find it, hand it to them. They have a problem. You've created the solution. Hand it to them on a silver platter. Deals will be done like that all the time. That's how we do our deals, Damien. That's how we know they're hot, because our clients tell us they're hot.
Yeah, obviously the ultimate hot deal then is a deal where you know you already have a buyer willing to pay more than you're going to spend on acquiring the property or acquiring the rights to the house. I mean,
absolutely.
That's sort of no-brainer. You know, but from a practical perspective, you know, let's say you're going in there and you're looking at deals and you say, hey, I want to rate some deals, help other investors figure out if deals are hot or not. Mm-hmm. You know, what do you specifically look at, Mark? If you were going to the Virtual Deal Factory right now and I said, hey, Mark, here's 20 deals, I want you to rate them hot or not. Yep. What would sway you towards cold or towards hot on a deal?
Absolutely, real simple. How much is the house worth today? How much can I buy it for today?
Now hold on a second. How much is it worth today? You're basing that on CMA, recent sales, other properties listed? What are you basing it on?
I'm basing it on immediately, because we're talking, I'm going into the system and asking. The 20 deals should tell you how much the house is worth. So I'm looking at it and saying a house is worth $100,000. I can buy it for $50,000, but it needs $10,000 in work. And me personally, I don't like to do that much work. I'm lazy. I'd rather pay a little bit more for a premium and not have to do anything, just walk in and turnkey, where I'm at in my business life. For you, you know, that's how I'd rate it, because I can get carried away on this. But make it simple. How much is it worth? How much can you get it for? What does it need, like work, rehab, a lot of rehab, a little rehab? Are you going to do the work, or are you going to pay someone to do the work? Figure these numbers in. If it makes sense and you're ready to move forward, move forward. Just rate the deals and let people know. But the best way, Damien, I can tell, if you rate 20 deals a week inside the system, within 1 month, that's 80 deals that you've kind of looked at, kind of like mentally going through numbers. You will become better at looking at deals and understanding deals like that.
Yeah,
Take
you know,
your time.
I mean, two things I would also look for, especially right now, is I would always pay attention to, you know, how much a property is renting for in the area, and whether or not there'll have vacancy, so you know whether or not you can do a rent hold, whether or not you can make a property, you know, cash flow positive if you're just trying to acquire the rights and sit on the rights for a while to a property. And the other thing I would really look at is, you know, not to get in either way in a market, and especially in a wacky market like we're in right now, Mark. It's so easy to get distracted and say, well, you know, nothing's sold in this area, you know. So, well, if there's $1 million house and I could get it for $800,000, is that a deal? Well, If you're going to live in it, maybe it is, but if you want to sell it, it's not a deal unless you can find a buyer. But on the flip side, even if nothing is sold in the area, there's always a price that makes sense. You know, people might say, well, nothing's selling in this community. Well, if there are, hypothetically, $1 million houses and you can get one for $100,000, I guarantee you can sell it for $150,000.
I'll buy it for $150,000 if it's a $1 million area and it's nice.
Exactly. So there's always a price that makes sense, you know, on a deal. And the other thing I would say when you're evaluating a deal, whether or not it's hot or not, you know, it's the same way I would evaluate a profile of any member in the Virtual Deal Factory is how much time have they put into the detail they're giving you in a deal. It's the same way that I've always used in every company I've been in charge of running. You know, when I get hundreds of resumes for positions, you know, just by looking at a resume, Mark, usually 9 out of 10 times I can tell you if the candidate's qualified by whether the format looks right, whether there are any typos, whether it's complete, whether it gives me the information I need. And that's the same thing. You know, when somebody really has a good deal, they're going to come with the right information. They're going to have accurate numbers. It's going to make sense. They're not going to have wrong zip codes and misspelled towns. So all those little things, believe it or not, it might not sound like much, but just like when you're hiring a candidate for a job, they're good. They're not the only indicators, but they're good indicators that you're on to something that has high quality and potential high value for you as an investor.
Exactly. And a real quick point, and then we'll get off this. We'll move forward. Is this is make it easy for the end person to say yes. Do your due diligence and work for them. People are lazy, Damien, as you know. Make it easy for them to say yes. I want the deal. You see, I can promise you, once I understood this piece, my business changed again. You know, it's constantly growing because we make it easy for people to say yes. We do all the work for them. They just have to verify. You see, make it easy. Your business will explode, I promise you. Absolutely.
Cool. That's a couple little nuggets of wisdom on how to know if deals are hot or not. And hope you enjoyed this day's episode of the Virtual Deal Factory Daily. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Mark and Damien. I just wanted to say thank you so very much. This is Leanne Lasky from Phoenix, Arizona, and I wanted to tell you how much I love the Virtual Deal Factory. It has been a wonderful resource, a wonderful opportunity. I have made many, many contacts. I have made about $23,000 because of my contacts with them on Virtual Deal Factory, and more is coming, I am absolutely sure. I've had great experience in learning to utilize Virtual Deal Factory both for selling properties and making connections, but also for things like sharing experiences, learning from others, and just basically growing my business on many, many levels. So I can't thank you enough for creating Virtual Deal Factory. I've been a member since the very day that it began, and I plan to be a member forever. Thanks. Bye.